Who are the Defenders? That's a pretty good question because out of all of the Marvel teams, these guys kind of get forgotten a lot. Now Netflix will be bringing us a Defenders TV show and the team will be made up of Daredevil, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage. Sounds like a pretty solid team, but that group has actually never existed as a solo four-man team in the comic books. Each member of Netflix's team has been on the Defenders in one form or another, but like I said, they've never just been the Defenders. So if you don't know who that Netflix team is, we have videos on each of them and I'll link them down below, but they are Daredevil, a man trained by ninjas with no sight in extreme senses, allowing him to sense various other things. Luke Cage, a man from Harlem with bulletproof skin and crazy strength. Jessica Jones, a girl with strength and flight who works as a private eye. And lastly, Iron Fist, a man that lost his family, ended up in the mystical city of Kunlun where he trained in the abilities of the Iron Fist. Now the Defenders as a group started with 3 individuals in 1971. Doctor Strange, Hulk, and Namor. The planet was under attack by beings known as the Undying Ones, so Doctor Strange manipulated Namor into helping him, and they teamed up with the Hulk to fight against the demons. They then reformed to face off against another threat, basically starting the Defenders unofficially. Now that's the thing about the Defenders, they aren't really an official team, at least they weren't at first. It's basically a group of people in a similar fight that come together and boom, they end up being called the Defenders. Using this rule, any superhero that has helped them is considered a Defender. So throughout the 1970s, that involved Clea, Doctor Strange's assistant, the Silver Surfer, also known as Norrin Radd, Black Knight, Valkyrie, which is an Asgardian, Namorita, which is a female version of Namor, Hawkeye, Nighthawk, Professor X, the Son of Satan, Luke Cage, Daredevil, The Thing, and Yellow Jacket. The Guardians of the Galaxy from the 31st century went back in time and they actually helped out with the Defenders at one point as well. They involved Yondu, Martinex, Charlie 27, Altena Ogord, Vance Astro, and Starhawk. Then as we went into the mid-70s, we got Red Guardian, Howard the Duck, Hellcat, aka Patsy Walker, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, the Carol Danvers version from way back in the day, the Devil Slayer, and Spider-Man Peter Parker himself. Now keep in mind, like I said, the Defenders count you as a member of the Defenders during the period that you're helping them out. There was a single day that a bunch of individuals teamed up to help with the Avengers. Shortly afterwards, they broke off and did their own thing again. They are Black Goliath, Captain Marvel, Captain Ultra, Falcon, Havoc, Hercules, Iron Fist, Jack of Hearts, Marvel Man, Nova, Richard Rider version, Paladin, Polaris, Prowler, Stingray, Tagat the Leopard Lord, trust me, I have no idea who that one is, Torpedo, and White Tiger. Then, as we got into the later parts of the 1970s, we got Moondragon and Wasp. When we cross into the 1980s, we have another person that I have no idea who they are. Arorica, Black Panther, Gargoyle, Dracula himself. Vlad Dracula joined up with the Defenders. Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze version, Man-Thing, Beast, the Hank McCoy guy, Wonder Man, Mr. Fantastic, Captain America, Nighthawk, Scarlet Witch, Vision, and the Overmind. Not the Overmind from Halo though, another guy that I completely have no idea who they are. Well, shortly afterwards, the Defenders kind of disbanded, which is kind of hard when you're not really an official group, but Hank McCoy himself decided to remake the Defenders as a more official team with an actual membership and roster and that kind of a thing. The founders of this group were Hank McCoy Beast himself, Angel, also known as Archangel, and Warren Worthington III, Gargoyle, Iceman, Moondragon, and Valkyrie. Later, they recruited Cloud. I don't think it's the guy from Final Fantasy, but once again, another real old superhero that I have no idea who they are. Seraph, the Southern Belle, Andromeda, Manslaughter, and Interloper. Now, most of the later recruits are people that I have no idea even existed, so maybe we'll have to cover them later, I have no idea. This led to eventually 1993 when Doctor Strange decided to remake his version of the Defenders, calling them the Secret Defenders. The founders of this group were Doctor Strange, Hulk, Ghost Rider, and Silver Surfer, and he eventually recruited Spider-Man, Wolverine, Darkhawk, Nomad, Spider-Woman, Namorita, Sleepwalker, Captain America, Scarlet Witch, Thunderstrike, War Machine, North Star, and Nova, Richard Rider version, respectively. As time went on, Doctor Strange got tired of being the only real steady member of the Defenders, so he retired and named Dr. Druid as the new leader of the Defenders. During this stint, we had Luke Cage, Deadpool, I can't pronounce this person's name at all, but it's Sepulchre. Their real name is Jillian Woods. I've never heard of them. Cadaver, Giant Man, Iron Fist, Archangel, Iceman, US Agent, Dagger from Cloak and Dagger, but only Dagger, Deathlock, and Drax the Destroyer. Now, eventually, in the year 2001, Doctor Strange decided to remake his version of the Defenders again. It's almost like this guy wants to make the Defenders, then he gets tired of it and leaves, and then he comes back later. Anyway, this group was Doctor Strange, the Incredible Hulk, Namor, Silver Surfer, Hellcat, and Nighthawk. Now, here's an interesting part of what happened with this storyline. While fighting off the first villain that they had to fight, Yandroth, he cursed them to always have to work together whenever the Earth was having a problem. But a part of this curse caused them to all basically be kind of evil. They all were forced to seek out their deepest desires that were inside of them, which kind of involved conquering the world. This was an interesting storyline, but eventually they also brought in Valkyrie and Red Raven, and they also had Clea, which is Doctor Strange's assistant, Namorita, She-Hulk, and Ardinia, which is apparently the female analog of Silver Surfer. I've never heard of her, but hey, whatever. Female Silver Surfer. What doesn't have a female version these days? Now, once again, we move all the way forward into the future when Tony Stark decided to make his version of the Defenders known as the Initiative version. This was a request from Kyle Richmond. He filled the ranks of it with the Blazing Skull, Colossus, Nighthawk, and She-Hulk. And eventually we got Atlas, Junta, Paladin, Warlord Krang, Son of Satan, and Nighthawk. I think this one was probably like the most obscure superhero version of the Defenders. During Fear itself, we had Doctor Strange making up his next version of the team, which was Doctor Strange, Namor, Silver Surfer, Lyra, which is that weird She-Hulk from the future that came back in time. She's really confusing. And Loa, another one that I have no idea who they are, but apparently they're an X-Man. And eventually, we get a final version. This is the latest version as of this video that is in the comic books. This is Defenders Volume 4, and it was made up by, go figure, Doctor Strange again. Doctor Strange, Namor, Silver Surfer, Hulk, Red She-Hulk, Iron Fist, Black Cat, and Ant-Man Scott Lang version. And that brings us to the current versions of the Defenders, which is apparently going to be the ones in the Netflix show, which is Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones. And I don't doubt that we're probably going to get a comic book related to that group. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about the Defenders and what other stories I should cover related to Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Danny Rand, because honestly, we're probably not going to get very many good Defender stories to cover for you guys. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter @Comicstorian and Instagram @Comicstorian, and I'll see you next time right here